What's up, y'all? And welcome to another episode of the For All Nerds Show. On this episode, we talk about episode 6 of Ironheart, in which black girls are making deals with devils.
When it all falls down.
Mephisto!
Okay, and that leads us to episode 6. The big fucking finale.
Woo!
Who was like to start on this? We finally get to see where the hood
Let's skip to the meat.
Well, that is the meat.
Yeah.
That is the meat. We finally get to see where Parker got the hood from.
Yep.
And it's from Borat.
Another person who I'm not the biggest fan of, but I thought he did a fantastic job is Mephisto.
Let's talk about it. Okay, so you don't like the casting, Ben?
No, I'm not a big fan of him.
Well, okay, fine, but do you like the casting?
Yeah, I thought he did an incredible job. I love his flip of accents, and I had this in my notes. Is that like intentional to make the devil British, to represent like the British Empire and that type of imperialism thought?
That's a good question. But that's what happens in Star Wars, right? All of the Empire, they have British accents.
Yeah.
That's like kind of like a stage standard type.
Well, that started as a stage standard, but then when Andor come along, Gilroy flips that to make it where it's the fact that the British are mainly Imperials and mainly white, etc. Or there's only there's one light-skinned British Imperial we see, etc. So that was definitely using Andor. Accent? Now I'm not sure if this show.
He did more than one accent. You talk about Sacha Baron Cohen as the Mephisto himself. Yes, he does more than one accent.
If it's Sacha Baron Cohen, it's all that shit's intentional because he's a master.
That is true.
He's a master impressionist and of length and all that stuff. So
what did you think about the reveal, Janicia, of Mephisto and of being played by Sacha Baron Cohen?
I didn't have any thoughts. I was like, all right, okay.
Okay. But none of y'all feel like finally Mephisto.
Oh, I definitely felt all that.
I wanted to ask you guys about it because the last time I was on here, we were talking about the rollout of Ironheart and how it just seemed kind of lackluster and unceremonious.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed to me like, do you all think that Disney Trojan horse this?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants Mephisto. Everybody wanted it, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes and no. Yes, because this is a great Trojan way to do it. No, because they fucked up. Because you could have. I'm not saying you could have revealed Mephisto. You could not have done that, but they could have done a better job of really giving you something better than what we got in the trailers. And not to say Disney ever tells the truth in the trailers, but they give you some more meat. I just feel like they give you something more exciting. And we were always, at least I know Ben and I would talk a lot about it. Like they're not really giving us much, and they're not trying to overpower the naysayers. It just didn't feel like and I don't know if it's just me feeling that way. It just didn't feel like the energy was there to really be like, let's push this. This is something y'all have to see. There's some crazy shit happening. No, you couldn't say Mephisto. Yes, you have to redirect, but I don't know that. I don't know if it's the way the trailers were cut or what. Like I just felt like they could have got.
So here's my question then, right? So I didn't necessarily have a hard on for Mephisto coming or going. I'm not super connected to that or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you feel like what we got with Sacha Baron Cohen? Did that satiate what you were looking for in a Mephisto appearance? Because sometimes with Marvel, as a movie watcher, sometimes I'll see a character and I could feel why everybody was hyped for this character. It could be somebody that's not like my jam, but I feel the energy, I feel the vibes, and I get it, and I can, those context clues and shit.
Right.
This, that's why I said I don't know. Did y'all get what you were looking for from this?
I don't know if I was looking for. I think that's the first thing. I wasn't looking for Mephisto. I didn't think that he would be there. And then two, it became a joke because since WandaVision, it was like, oh, Mephisto coming every corner of the internet. It's been 5 years where it was like, oh, that's Mephisto's doing. We about to see him at the end of this episode, and it was never fucking him. So then for him to finally pop up, it was like, oh shit, finally my nigga's here. But it wasn't like I was expecting to see something specific. So I went in there with nothing, if that made sense. Like I just went in there with nothing, and it was like, oh shit, it's Mephisto finally. Great.
It's gotta be a big deal, right?
Well, as a, like, I think, yeah,
it's supposed to be a big deal, and I would think that and when the internet sees it, I wanted to see how they react to it.
Oh, it's gonna be all right. It's to answer your question, Janicia, it's interesting, right? Because Mephisto has been in a lot of comics since I was a kid. He especially really interacts with Silver Surfer. He had a really crazy one. One of the first comics I ever read was Fantastic Four versus Mephisto, and Franklin Richards, their like childhood son, destroys him, and it was really crazy, really dope. But this whole obsession with Mephisto appearing in the MCU to me is some very white shit. And it goes back to that whole, when white people love zombies and white people love devils and things like that. So Mephisto represents the devil. And so that's one of those things, like I was talking about this last week. I quoted Bounty Killer song where I said, before them see God, them see the devil. And it goes back to this because I feel like this is why people wanted it so much, is they just want that devilish thing to be in the MCU. Now, as far as was I getting what I wanted out of Mephisto's appearance, 100%. Because I didn't really need much more than this. I love that one shot they have where I think you see in the spoon, you see Sacha Baron in the full red makeup, so you see him as the red face.
Oh, and the reflection?
Yeah, there's
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, when he's talking to him, it's a spoon or something on the table. It's one shot. They only give you one shot of it.
But there's a conversation with
Riri.
Oh,
yeah. In the final conversation with Riri, when he's sitting at the table, there's a shot of a spoon. I'll screenshot it when when the episodes come out, but there's a shot of a spoon that has Mephisto in the full red makeup. And I think there's been like a behind the scenes shot of him because people knew Sacha was in this for as long as this show has been announced. People have known that he was in it. And the rumor was that he was going to play Mephisto in this. So a lot of people have been waiting for it. And I think that is one of the reasons why Marvel did the release the way they did, is that they did not want this to get out. Like the way they held us from even talking about it to the very last minute. They were scared that some journalists were going to immediately, as soon as the embargo broke, go out and be like, Mephisto's in episode 6.
Right. They
and
waited
that would have,
the last minute.
Sucked, for people. So I get that. Because I even saw on the internet, immediately people were, making like, not assumption, like leaning into that, knowing that Mephisto's in it. So now that it's out, I thought it was great. I think it's going to be huge for the MCU. I think it's really huge for Ironheart to have this interaction with Mephisto because I think it makes her character much more prominent in MCU. And now we have to discuss the choices that are made. But just as far as her being a part of MCU, I'm glad she made that choice, because if she hadn't, it would have gone back to your Moonlight level where we never know if we'll ever see you again.
I think you kind of answered my question about like the decision. Can we talk about the decision she made?
Yeah, no, we can. This is episode 6. That's what we need to talk about.
I just thought that last scene was fantastic. Just the way they kept cutting back. I'm like, is this the AI? Is this her?
Is this a dream?
Is it a dream? Like, so she makes the decision. Where does that? Can you? Man, I want you guys to like kind of expound on what you think this will be, and how does that decision fit in the whole MCU, like on a broader scale, or is this just another albatross that is over Riri's back? The decision she made.
I don't know, because like I recently rewatched the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and the MCU has so many unfulfilled plot lines right now that I don't know where this one will go, because we're approaching Secret Wars. I don't really know how Riri fits into that. I don't know how Mephisto, if at all, fits into that. Like Mephisto was actually in the comics a big part of the Infinity Gauntlet, but not so much a big part of, Secret Wars, any version of them. So I don't know how they fit this in and how it expands. I am just, excited to see that Riri will have this interaction at some point in the future.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ben, because like you, I was just like, this has huge implications for the rest of the MCU, and why when in my first review, I said this show, this is probably the most important MCU show since WandaVision, if not maybe even above that.
It has to be.
It has to be because of all the different doors that have been opened now. Like, and again, like that. I mean, not to say that we haven't seen the magic before, but this is different. The magic with the tech and just the entry point of this, and then introducing such an integral piece of at least comic book history, right? So on my usually like that's where I typically sit. Like, yo, this shit is going to be crazy. The implications. How to answer your question, Chris? What does that mean for the rest of the MCU? We're in the multiverse. It can mean anything, right? And then on the other hand, I'm like, it could mean nothing because I have to repeat. It wasn't until this last Captain America movie where they addressed the Celestial in the fucking ocean.
Yeah.
It's been what the lady said on Titanic. It's been 87 years.
That's
right?
also got to remember the writer strike and COVID, etc.
But writer strike or not, it's just like the niggas didn't exist. Like, it's just so many things. Like, we saw who's the guy we saw at the end of the last Thor movie, who is another. That nigga
ain't never Hercules.
You ain't never gonna see a nigga, and that's like end of the universe type of being. And it's just like they tend to introduce these like not even Earth ending, universe and timeline, shifting characters, and then we're never gonna talk about them again. So I don't think that's going to happen with Sasha because Sasha does have a lot of star power anyway on his own. And I think that he would throw a fit. And who knows, the deal's probably already done that, he's going to be around for whatever, how many movies and shows. But like, I don't know. I don't know. This is for me, this is the first time Marvel has come back like strong. And
to me, this hit hard. This hit harder than Thunderbolts for me.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Not trying to be a
you're not trying to be nothing. You're telling the truth. Yes.
Now, I do want to ask this question though, because Chris said his opinion, I think, but how do y'all feel about a black girl making a deal with the devil?
All right, so
yeah,
I'm so glad I'm so glad you said my name and said, "Hey, Janicia, what do you think about this specifically?" You go first, please.
I meant to. It was telepathic right there.
It was for you.
Yeah. So, okay, the identity politic of that, I don't think is inherently a problem. Do I think that this black girl who we watched and her mom is with the woo-woo, who we watched get a piece of that fabric, of that cloak and bring it, and both of Zelma and her mom, Zelma was like, oh, this is wicked. What is this? And then her mom with the wisdom was like, get the fuck out of my shop with this. I love you. I want to protect you. Get away from here because it's not safe, and destroy this. Do I think that black girl would make a deal with the devil? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think that black girl would make a deal with the devil. So I don't have a problem with what I would have loved and what I was hoping for. I really love, to Chris's point, I really did like the that final scene, like the back and forth, because we're like, oh, this is a dream sequence. She's obviously going to tell him no, or she fixed Natalie the AI or whatever. So I really liked how they did that. What I wish that they were able to incorporate either in that scene or, if they had taken some of the real estate that they spent on Ezekiel, I really would have liked to feel more of why she would make a deal with the literal fucking devil who had this cloak that two of the closest black women in her life said, this is wild evil. Get it the fuck out of here. I could see, we understand why she would want Natalie to come back. And we understand that sometimes when you're dealing with grief and love and loss, all bets are off and you do whatever you have to do. But I don't think that this black girl would go that far, where we already know, like, she's been down this road. She saw what was going on with the hood. She took the fabric and had it fucking analyzed. She knows it comes from evil. I don't think this black girl would make that deal. And I feel like there could have been, and I'm saying this as a totally ignorant person who wasn't in the writer's room, but just in terms of a viewer watching the time and watching how things were done, for me, I feel like there could have been a little bit more about why she might, like, the pros and cons, and why she might lean further towards making a deal with the devil. I feel like there's something they could have given us that would have made it make more sense than it does in the show that they gave us. Because in the show they gave us, I don't think that black girl makes this decision.
I see everything Janicia says. I agree with. I also see some duality in it, because they also very strongly gave us the imagery of someone who can be one track minded and wants what she wants. They keep pushing that aspect of her, and whatever you can attribute that to, her youth, personality, whatever, that keeps coming up. And like, part of that, to me, part of that back and forth about kind of giving you the sense that maybe this is a dream, maybe this is that. That's Riri's dream to have her best friend back. Mm-hmm. That's Riri's dream to have been there to do something. That's Riri's dream to have prevented
starts with that.
all of that. Right. And it kind of does a full circle moment. So that's why I said the duality comes where I'm just like, damn, when presented with what you absolutely like, better. The fuck better is essentially what we're saying. And that, knowing what you know, knowing what people just told you an hour ago or whatever it was, a day ago, but it's like, that's the mistake that gets made. I feel like there's always going to be, in our lives as humans, there's always going to be that one time where it was like, nigga, where did that decision come from? What drove you to that decision? And I agree that I wish they would have gave us more to maybe make it more real that she would have made that, because I still question that. Damn, how could Riri make that decision at the same time? And again, that could have maybe been explained with more writing. What? At the same time, I get it.
Even if Remick, even if this episode's Remick was more persuasive, you know what I'm saying? Even if Mephisto was more persuasive, because he didn't feel like he was giving me big persuasion vibes. I think I would have taken
that about him though, because I like how he was more like, I can do this, but it's up to you. You know, it's like,
but that's how the devil works. Yeah. It gives you the tool. The devil doesn't do it for you.
Because he told the hood the same thing. No, I'm not going to make you the king of the world. I'm going to give you the tools.
Correct.
And so it's like that. I like that about him, where he didn't have to persuade because he already knows. And it's like, that's the thing. He already knows what she wants. And so it's like the ability to give someone that. And then I love that line Riri had. This is something that, to go into the whole MCU part of it, where she's like, the past is the past. And this breaks all the rules of what was said in Infinity War and Endgame. Because they were basically like, no, that type of shit can't happen. Dead or dead, this. And Mephisto, I mean, he even says it, like, I'm big in the Dormammu. Like, that's that dude can't lift my ass,
Another part of this that for me actually goes further along with what Janicia said about maybe not this character. This could have been their version, their TV version of, they want an Infinity War moment, or they want a moment where it's like, the bad stuff actually does happen, right? Yes. It's like people got snapped and no one fucking
that's how I felt watching this.
I think this is the same. Like, they wanted to have that moment again because they haven't had that moment in a while, or anything that's even built up to that. So this Trojan horse of a show, then putting this character in it and then saying, let's have that moment where it's just like, nigga, they actually snapped. Nigga, the person actually got taken away, or the person actually made this wild ass decision that you would never think they would make or should have made, or whatever the case may be. But the complications of that and the consequences of that is what reverberates throughout the rest of the whole of the MCU. And I think this could have been that. And I don't know whether you want to agree that them doing it in this way. I think they also maybe wanted this moment.
Yeah. Now, whether or not it's earned is, that can be argued. I definitely can argue that. And I'm not a black girl, but as someone, my first reaction was like, wow, that's not going to go over well. And my second reaction was, I don't know if she would have made that choice, because as someone who's raised, like you said, with this black woman mother who is, very much mystical, spiritual, and has a history, Chicago, I know, is a very black city. So, you probably grew up in a black church, et cetera, all that type of thing. And someone who myself grew up in I was like raised in a Southern Baptist black church. The idea of making a deal with the devil is insane to me. But then if someone said I could bring your mom back, I don't know. That becomes
well,
you don't know. Want?
And I think I want to give the energy to that. Like, you don't, and something like that, then to me is all damn near impossible situation. You don't know how that person's gonna go. Like, all that experience and life shit can throw out the window immediately.
Yeah.
And then you make the most wildest decision because,
and I know my mom would be disgusted, but at the same time.
What you gonna say, Chris?
Yeah.
I want to say you all touched on everything, but she's also in pain. How could she make that decision? She's in pain. She misses her friend. And the more compelling choice is to make that deal with the devil.
Yeah.
That we would not agree with it, obviously, but that's the interesting decision That's what makes it.
Yeah. What's also interesting about it is just like how the devil normally works. You don't know what form is coming in. So remember when even though it was juxtaposed between these two different, scenes, the scene when she's fixing on her suit and all that, that's later. That's after she had already made the decision. And she's fixing her suit, going about her time. She's thinking she's going to be able, the deal worked that she got back Natalie AI. Not Natalie herself. So, and like, she was even in shock. Like, that's what you meant when you said you can give me what I want. So I think her not even, she doesn't also realize the extent. And I think that's what I'm saying, where it's like, you just make these wild decisions sometimes, not really truly realizing the extent of what you did or what the impact of that could be. Like, it was clear she didn't realize that he meant, no, I'm bringing the person back.
I don't know, because
or was that even possible? She was shocked, bro.
She was definitely shocked. I think she does know. I think it's more like because time had passed, one. And so I think she just stopped believing that he had given, what he said he was going to do. Because he says death is hard, but I can do that. So she knows what he's talking about. But I think once, because time has passed, her hair changes, her bruise is gone. So it's like, I think that is where it's like, she just did not believe him anymore. And then she continued to work on this AI, continued to work on the suit. And then it's like, it shows up again. So yeah, I don't know. That is
You think that she really did know what he meant? Like
I don't know. That's questionable.
Not even know what he meant. That he knew, like she really believed that was about to fucking happen.
No, I don't think she believed it was going to happen. That's why I think she did it too. I think it's one of those monkey paw, situations where it's like, fuck it, whatever.
I'm just going to take the deal, but not really.
Yeah, this ain't really the devil. None of this is real, whatever, And then when it turns up, it's like, oh shit. One thing I did want to say about the whole pizza shop they meet in is called Desperitos. And that's not a word.
It's not.
No, it's not at all.
I kept saying desperado. No, that's not what it says.
Google kept trying to give me despacio. I'm like, no, Desperito. And it's not a word, but I think they're just trying to play off desperate and, making it like, I guess, a semi-Italian, Spanish,
It's a place for desperate people. Is that what you're trying to say? That's
Desperitos. But that was also kind of bad to me because it's like, that's like my Spanish.
It's too on the nose.
I'm like, yeah, desperate. Like, I'm in desperate. Desperito, that's Spanish, right? That's how it felt to me. That was really like, ooh. But I don't know. I don't know why they went with that.
Looked it up?
Huh?
It didn't come in when you looked at anything?
No, there is no such word. That's when it came up. There's no such word as desperito. I tried in Spanish and Italian. It's no such word.
It wasn't despirito.
No, I paused and wrote it out.
Okay.
It's not a word. One other thing, because this also, like Janicia said, I really...
Oh, wait, sorry. Or is it de-spirit?
That's what I'm saying.
De-spiritos?
That's what I was saying.
But like, why is the O at the end?
Despirito
Italian, but
see, once again,
obviously,
what's that terrible?
Obviously, to make it Italian, Ben.
Yeah,
okay,
you add an O to everything.
Like, but maybe instead of desperate, maybe it's a play on spirit. Maybe it's a de-spirit.
Yeah, like lost your soul type.
Yeah.
Okay, could be that too.
De-soul, like debuff.
Riri's version of
debuff.
You got debuffed by Mephisto, nigga. Like what happened? And that's another thing. When you make a deal with, when you do make a deal with him, what happens? Don't he own you at that point, like your soul or some shit?
Pretty much.
And is there any and that's another thing. Is there any coming out? Is there any way out of that?
All right.
Would have liked her to ask more questions.
Yes.
Right?
Like one or two.
We don't. The other thing is we don't see that whole scene between them. That's why because it's cutting back. She might have asked all the questions in the world and still came to that same decision. And I think it's that monkey's paw thing where it's like you don't really believe it. So you wish upon it, and then the shit happens, and then you regret. But one other thing that I do like, I hated Ezekiel in this episode. Like
the fact that he just says, "I still got beef with you."
Yes. Oh
that was
my
the best
God.
Thing he had for her.
Terrible writing. Like this is when I can really say no. Like, and even as someone who's been incarcerated and all that, you can be mad about that, but no. Why? Where did this beef even come from at this point?
It's irrational.
But one other thing I did want to point out, because you were talking about him fighting and the whole him being controlled, I thought it was hilarious when dude when the hood was sicking him on people.
Yeah,
and he's like jumping at them all crazy and shit.
He in the background flick, like yeeting niggas left and right.
But he was like, because when he fought Riri, he was not moving like that. And then when he's fighting these people, because I guess it's him trying to resist it or whatever, he's like just doing the most weird, like terrible.
He going to Cirque du Soleil on them. Like he wasn't doing that shit before.
Yeah, it was terrible, but hilarious too. So that was my moment where you were talking about Jay, like where you get some more humor out of the fact that this dude controlling him, because that was comedy.
And you guys saw the after credit scene, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So with Parker now seeking help from Zelma at the magic shop, and what's going to happen now? That they're going to be a team now? Like what?
Zelma is definitely another one who makes bad decisions. So yes, I could see that. Like
that's a teenager, another teenager that's like, we're gonna check this out. Yeah,
but it wasn't clear to me what his angle was. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't clear to me. Right. Yeah. Right. So it's a lot of gray that we don't know. Is he a good guy now? Is he? Well, we don't know.
Was he on some
That's how Marvel does in credit scenes. So it's like they can, whoever writes the next one can decide whatever they want. You know. Yeah.
Chris was trying to say something.
Can we also talk about? I like that fight scene between Parker and
Riri with the hologram.
I really love.
Oh yeah, very fire.
When he
very
had her
fire.
dead, he thought he had her dead to rights, and she used the magic, that black girl magic, and got him. I thought it was great. I
love that. I love the use of the holograph. Because they've been doing it.
The holograph.
Throughout the whole episode. I mean, throughout the series, and then to flip it on that, I thought that was very dope.
CGI is really great in this.
Yes. Yeah. And that's another complaint that people have had. Like, and it's
complaint.
Yeah, people. I mean, because
irrational hate, or for in general.
It's just been irrational hate because people say the action isn't well done. Where I'm like,
no, it's actually one of the better actions from all the MCU shows.
In the story, and the CGI is some of the better from any of the MCU shows. So it's irrational hate that people have been throwing this way towards the show throughout it.
It's crazy.
I want to also mention that Shakespeare made a deal with the devil, and I love that because I'm not a Shakespeare hater, but I'm just a person who thinks that giving anyone credit to one person is really wild like that. And also the Ringo Starr is it Ringo? Well, Ringo of the Beatles made a deal with the devil.
In this universe, right?
In this universe,
okay.
I think in real life too. I think in real life, definitely, I'm a Beatles hater. So yeah, no doubt about that.
Oh my gosh,
they made several deals with the devil for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and all of the Forbes 100, also another great shout out.
Yeah. So, guys, now that we've gone through all of these episodes, and now we know the whole series, what would you rate the series scale, A, B, C, or D?
Oh my gosh.
Me go
you
first.
Could do minuses and pluses. You could say pluses.
Yeah, I'll say B plus, A minus.
Okay, I'm gonna go B.
Okay, Chris.
I'm gonna go A. Black, compelling, locked in. I haven't been this locked in since Jonathan Majors' part in Ant-Man.
Damn, he took it back.
No, I just love the specific of it, like just that part of the movie.
His part.
Yeah. That's about it.
Specifically in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Specifically in Ant-Man.
I mean, and what was the series he was in? What was
Loki,
Loki?
right?
Loki.
Yeah, he was good in that too.
Well, he was
Yeah, Loki was solid.
He Who Remains. Yeah, well, that was wasted.
Has anyone seen Magazine Dreams?
I did. I talked about it last time.
Oh yeah, no, that's right.
Oh, look at your figure.
We'll talk about this after the show.
Figurine.
I went and saw it because
we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
That deserves its own episode.
I'm down.
I would rate Ironheart. I would give it an A minus.
Mm-hmm.
And the minus is only because, again, from the second watch, just seeing the certain things, and it's a minor minus, but it's still a slight minus. Where I'm just like, that was like. Could have did that a little better, or could have done without. But everything else I think was phenomenal, from the top to the bottom. So A minus.
That elevator shit was trifling, and Zeke was whack.
I gotta watch it.
And I liked him at first, but just on second watch, it was like, ugh.
Yeah.
And the electric powers was weak. It was like, I got amped up, and it's like Riri should have knocked his ass across the room and been done with it.
But at the end of the day, even though they may have spent way too much time with him, but he still wasn't the main character. It was still much Riri day. So
and it's still Riri versus the Hood, and that was very well done. Their whole main beef was Very well done. And they did well by a lot of the side characters. I really will agree with Jay here that way too much time was spent on my man's. Jesus Christ. If that, especially for
unless
that
you're going to do
denouement.
more with him than what we ended up with, which was, I got beef with you. I'll see you tomorrow.
It's like, I don't care, nigga.
Like, we got real black problems over here. We got anybody worried about beef with you? Get out of here.
Lightning, nigga.
Go
like,
away.
I don't care. I'm about to go do a deal with the devil. I got much bigger things on my plate.
Get out of here.
Ben, what's your rating?
Oh, I said B plus A minus.
B plus
definitely.
A-minus,
Yeah. Definitely. I was like, and I will say this again, fuck all these haters. Like, fuck y'all from the bottom of my fucking heart. Like, I have, oh my God, nothing but disrespect for you. And I have a lot of disrespect for, like, the one I was going off with today where they said this show is not black enough. And I sent that to Janicia because I was like, I don't even know if this person is black. They at least spell black with a capital B. But then I feel like the other side of it where that sexism and comes in so heavy because their first thing was this show is not good. And then when you ask them why, they said the writing, et cetera, and they could go on all day. But then when you ask for specific reasons, they have none. And and then when they're like, well, it's not black enough, it leads me to be like, well, no, you just hate women. Because this show is mighty black, and very black enough for an MCU production. But and that was their other thing. They were like, the MCU, Disney just keeps using blackness. And it's like, bro, do they really?
I'm sorry I exist.
Did you think that Wakanda,
like, around and breathing?
Like, did you think Black Panther was like, the Disney just using blackness? For real?
They can't see any humanity in us. Like I've said this on countless podcasts that I've been on. Just when I was a kid, I watched all the black people in general. For the most part, we consume all of popular culture.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up like, ooh, Han Solo's cool. Indiana Jones is cool.
Yep.
Luke Skywalker, Superman, Batman. I want to be like that.
Yep.
White people cannot do that when they see something like a Black Panther. It is so hard for them to do the math or whatever it is, the cultural math or whatever it may be, to really connect to a character that's breathing just and pumps blood just like them. So that they're never gonna get it, and I feel sorry for them.
Shout out to all those little white kids who were dressed up in T'Challa costumes. We got video and picture of y'all, so y'all better stay on the right path.
Well, when y'all grow up, we got the footage.
Stay on the right path.
That's all I'm saying. We got, otherwise I'm gonna come back and be like, nigga.
No, we're gonna come back and say, this you?
Remember when you had sense?
This you? Comic-Con 2023, this you? Yeah. Thank y'all so much for joining us for this review of Ironheart. We appreciate both of you, Chris, Janicia. Thank you for your time, your energy, your love, your reprimands, all that stuff. We love it.
I reject that terminology once.
Your corrections.
Again.
Your corrections?
My feedback. Thank you.
Your feedback. Well, you called me wrong. I mean, I don't know what I don't know what word for that. I don't know.
You were wrong. All of you were wrong.
And Ben, thank you for your apology as well.
That was a great impression.
Thank you for your apology as well, Ben. We appreciate it.
You might have to cut in Chadwick on that. You were wrong.
Do a side by side.
Janicia, can you please tell people they can find you and anything you're working on?
Yes. Thank you for having me. You can always find me over at Tea with Queen and Jay podcast. I'm on socials at Tea with QJ. That's TEA with the letter Q, the letter J. And you can also find me if you want to hit my personal at Janicia F, JANICIAF. And yeah, listen to Tea with Queen and Jay podcast. I'm over there.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, and support me on Patreon.
Yes.
I need that money. Okay.
I know that's right.
I'm trying to stay out of the GoFundMe industrial complex. Okay. So so if you want to support me in an easy, passive way, hit me on Patreon. It's much appreciated. It helps me to keep running the show and keeps me off the pole, and support ForAllNerds Patreon as well. And Chris's Patreon. Give us your money.
Yes.
And Chris, with that, can you please let people know where they can find you, what you're working on, your special with Netflix or whomever you're.
Like, whoa. Oh my God.
Look, hey, you're part of the ForAllNerds Circle of Trust
Chris,
now.
honestly,
things
you
happen.
need to speak that to existence because to Ben's point, the ForAllNerds Circle of Trust, people be meeting higher
things happen.
heights.
Yeah.
So you have to speak that into existence one day.
Well,
I mean, you don't even need Netflix. You just need millions of views on YouTube.
I just need people to watch it so I can sell tickets. And
there you go.
And so they can say that guy is funny.
Yeah, but who are you and where can people find you?
Chris Lamberth. You can find me at chrislamberth.com. You can listen to my podcast, The Mundane Festival, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And you just follow me on Instagram at Chris Lamberth. You can see me do stand-up in your town, God willing.
Yep. And for all nerds fan, I'm a big fan of comedy, big fan of stand-up. And I went and saw Chris's special, and I really can't wait for everyone to see it. It was really great, really heartfelt. He had some really, like he's talked about it on this show, the passing of his father. He had some really great moments in it. And yeah, just, big up for that, man. It was really great. I almost had me in tears a bit there because, my father has also passed. And
oh, wow.
Yeah. No, both my parents have now, transitioned on. So
yeah.
I felt that very strongly, man. It was very
Appreciate
great.
That mean a lot.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
And again, shout out to Janicia because like she said, we need that money. So make sure you go to that Patreon, patreon.com/ForAllNerds. Please, if you love what you hear, all of this production costs money. And we do what we can. We barter, we do this, we do that. But at the end of the day, we do want to make sure that we're giving you the best of the best. So please support us. You can also support us by buying our merch. You see, both Ben and me, I didn't realize, but me and my brother, we wearing the cowboy.
Oh, we had, I know you was there this weekend, so I had to rep for it. We both wearing
the Cowboy Carter, Cowboy Bebop crossover shirt. Yes, this does say Cowboy Kata in Japanese kanji. Please check out ForAllNerds.com to look at all the merch we have. We have like the Gucci Mandalorian, the Lionel Richie, one recently by Mark Lamont Hill on the Joe Budden podcast. Thank you, Mark, for supporting. And as always, make sure you're following us on your favorite podcast platforms. We are everywhere, For All Nerds, as well as on your favorite social media platform, For All Nerds. Follow me, Tatiana King, him, DJ Ben Hameen. Make sure you're also going to Big DJ Energy to get DJ Ben Hameen's music. He's doing the damn thing every summer like he normally does. Anything else, Ben?
I just want to give a shout out to everybody watching, listening, and in general, like even if you aren't watching the show, tell a friend to tell a friend about it. But I just love to see the fact that Ironheart was #1 all weekend on Disney Plus.
#1 streaming.
That was fucking amazing because I already know that when these episodes drop, it's gonna be through the roof for a long time. But that was really fire to see. Like, shout out to everybody out there. I love to see this love, and I love to see Black people coming together. Like when these corporations don't know what they have on their hands, that we show them what they have on their hands. So that was really beautiful to see.
Yep. And with that, thank y'all so much. We love you. We appreciate you. Talk to you soon.
Peace.
Bye. Hey, what's up, internets and the fam? This is Tatiana King for All Nerds, and I want to thank you so much for listening and watching the All Nerds. Make sure you like and subscribe to us only on YouTube.
For All Nerds Show is a member of the Loudspeakers Network, where we always say rest in peace to our founder, Combat Jack.
For All Nerds Show is powered by our listeners. Everything we do, from our podcasts, live events, our website, are all independently funded. Please continue to support us through our Patreon page at patreon.com/ForAllNerds.